Hey y'all, it's Arwen of Tarot by Arwen, and I'm here to do a review of a deck called Omegaland, and Omegaland is by US Games. This is the box. And you'll see that it's also a tarot deck and a card game. The back has a picture of one of the cards, the Wheel of Fortune. And this card, as I said, this deck is from US Games from 2014. It's an unusual deck. And part of the reason it's unusual is because of its theme. It's a post-apocalyptic themed deck, and it is zombie kind of thing, but they're not really, it's pitting one group of people against another. So whether it's zombies or not, you can make that decision. It has a little white book, or LWB as we like to call it in Tarot Land, and it is in fact little and white, and it's black and white. The creator says, "Hey, welcome. You're now a proud owner of an Omegaland deck. Whether you acquired it through trading beans, bullets, or bandages, or pulled it off some poor soul's remains, you're in for a treat." And he talks about having to document his travels through drawing. So it's a really interesting first-person book. He talks about the fool saw this kid cruising down an unfamiliar path, being a bit too cavalier about it. Danger was all around, but he pressed on. So I really like that. It's kind of a backstory on Omegaland, and he says, "This is Omegaland, and things are pretty different now that society has collapsed. We all do what we have to do to survive." Dun dun dun! If you don't hear the big dun dun dun, you should. So we're going to look at some of the cards from Omegaland. As always, I like to pull one card from each suit, then all four of one suit's court cards to give you an idea of the card and the imagery. Now I have to tell you that the imagery for me was a bit difficult to get into at first, and that's because it's almost caricature-like. It's a cruder drawing that I'm used to in the tarot decks that I love and enjoy. So it did take me a little bit. I don't think this is a deck I could read with on a regular basis or on a professional basis, but it's fun. I think it'd be fun to read for like teenagers that are really into the post-apocalyptic kind of thing, Hunger Games, Z Nation, Walking Dead, that sort of genre. There are cards here called leader goals, and these are, all three are the same. And what they are is to help you play the game, play the card game of Omegaland. And then you get the major powers, and both of these cards are front and back. So major powers, and on the back of leader goals you have scoring, how to score. So it's interesting. I've never played the game. I might. My husband and I really enjoy board games, so it may be one of those that we like to sit down and learn how to play. We love the game Wizard. That's also a US Games deck. And it's not tarot. It's just a fun card game that we tried out one night and found ourselves playing it quite a lot. So let's look at the deck itself. First, the back. Dude. Now, notice something. This is not reversible. Pay attention to this or this. This is here. Boop, 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 boop. Now, when we turn the cards, this is here. So, the filled hole and the open hole make this deck not reversible. Again, not necessarily for everybody. I don't care if they're reversible, but some people do, so I point that out. We start with the suit of swords. Swords are air for me. And here is the Four of Swords. This card generally is a card of rest and relaxation, and I think this card captures it very well. Crossbows are what they use for swords in this deck. So you see there are four, so you've got the four to count if you need to. She's resting, he's resting, and they're fairly safe with the boarded up windows. Then we move over to the Ace of Wands. I picked this one because, well, I'll just show it to you and tell you why. So guns are wands, right? Guns are the fire power card. And I am not a major fan of guns. So it's a difficult thing for me. I'm learning to handle them because I need to. For me, it's an important thing that I need to learn. So it isn't for everybody again. But I really like that this gun is being primed, ready to shoot. Trigger finger is ready to pull back when it needs to be. This is action waiting to happen. That for me is a good indicator of an ace. Ace, again, are seed energy. You'll hear me say that a lot. They're the potential of the suit. And so we have a potential firing fixing to happen. The next is, I have 2 coins, so I am fixing to reach over here really quickly and get a cup card, because there was a cup sitting right there on the top. Cups are west, water. This is the 10 of Cups. This is the happily ever after. These people are safe. They don't have to worry about things coming their way. They're sleeping outside. They have plenty of water, plenty of supplies. So in this world, this is their happily ever after. This is their, whew, made it kind of card. And I just like, if you look at how they're sleeping together, his hand on her, very loving, very protective. It's a nice feeling for that card, right? That's a good thing. Now let me move on. I've already messed myself up. Let's go to coins. Coins are earth. And I picked one of the negative coin cards, the 5 of coins. Now, the 5 of coins is about not having what you need, but there's a more important lesson for me in the 5 of coins. All this empty cans, right? And cans are coins in this. Cans of beans represent prosperity in this world. Look way up on that hill. Potential place of getting help. Ignoring it, weeping over the beans he's already eaten, not looking for the help that's evident. Really important thing to think about when this card shows up in your own readings is, where do you need help? Where are you not asking for help? Big piece of it. Because when we don't ask for help that we need, guess what? No, that's not the correct answer. I don't know if y'all heard Vinegar give her little cat opinion, but you don't get the help you need if you don't ask for it. Asking for help is a very difficult thing for most humans. Gotcha. Understand it. Believe me, I understand it. But we have to do that. So it's a lesson card. And most people are like, I don't like that lesson. Yeah, well, lessons weren't made for us to like, y'all. Lessons were made for moving us on down the path. In general. We're going to look at the wand suit. Page of Wands. Young man. Ready to rock and roll. He's got what he needs. He's got his bedroll. He's got his gun. Again, wands are guns in here. And look at that landscape. It's just, I want to go in there with a bag and start picking stuff up. But he's ready and determined. And maybe a little foolish. Often our pages are younger and don't always make the full brain connection on their next move. So that's kind of an impetuous card there. We have the Knight of Wands next. Motorcycle. Older gentleman, not quite as young. Moving, traveling. He's on that motorbike and he's ready to get the heck out of Dodge, man. Look at the expression on his face, and he's a redhead. Quick temper, quick action. Like the page, but has learned some lessons around the impetuosity of the wands. Then we move to the Queen of Wands. And you'll see what I mean about the drawings. Now, I really like this drawing. I don't know why we're focusing on the Q13. Stop that. Someday my camera will listen to me. Yeah, someday my prince will come. Oh wait, I'm married. He already came. The Queen of Wands is a woman. Now, she often is, again, somebody who can be sharp-tongued, who can be impetuous. Wands are fire. So fire, you get a lot of that crackling kind of energy. I'm trying to move less so we don't have all the la 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 movement because my webcam needs to be a different camera. But again, she's in control. She's going somewhere. She's taking care of herself. And that's an important piece of any of the queens. Our King of Wands, I really like him. Look at his face. Okay, camera, you can stop zooming in any minute. He looks like an Austinite to me with that beard, y'all. But he has a kindly face. He has a warmness about him. He doesn't seem aggressive to me, and I like this king. I really like his readiness to take action, but his reticence to take action. He's not going to take action unless it's really needed. Now, I read a little bit about the Fool card. Let me read that again so you can kind of grasp this. This is in the voice of the author. Saw this kid cruising down an unfamiliar path, being a bit too cavalier about it. Danger was all around, but he pressed on. They say fortune favors the bold. I guess that's still true, even if the boldness isn't exactly rational. I didn't stick around to see what happened. So, back here is, I don't know if you can see it, back here is the danger figure. And, you know, he's got the typical backpack. I love that he's wired into sound. So, it's a great Fool card for me. Then he talks about the Magician. I'll read you just a piece of the Magician. He's a consummate tinkerer and can turn seemingly useless junk into something great. So he's kind of in this deck, kind of a MacGyver of guys. And that's a good fictional character for the Magician. Because the Magician is all about using tools. In any good, for me, Magician, all the tools of the tarot are represented. And I see the cans for coins. I see the arrow, the crossbow for air or swords. I see the gun for wands. Oh, and the water for cups, the little tea bag there. So we've got all of the tools of this deck showing up. I love the High Priestess in any tarot deck. I like to look at her. You know, I talk about the cards that I like to look at. There's two main ones, and those are Death and the Star. High Priestess is often right up there. And so here's our High Priestess. Now, she's an interesting High Priestess. She doesn't have a lot of the, you know, we do have kind of the light and the dark. And she's got a book in her hand, so there is an idea. And here, this is really nice. This locked chest, that represents secrets she knows, things she's holding on to, things that you don't know yet. And that's a nice piece of that. So I like the interpretation there of how he does his High Priestess. Death is interesting. Death is kind of ominous. There. I changed my lighting a bit. I'm sitting in the dark with just the windows open, so we've got more natural lighting. I hope it's better. We have one person dead, other people are fixing to die, and the dude in the doorway is freaking ominous. Dun, dun, dun. The Star, she's pretty. She's gathering water in, you know, a big jug. The Star is above her. She's got an optimistic look on her face. She doesn't look terrified. She doesn't look frightened. She just looks ready to move towards her goal. And for me, Star needs to be about goal. It has to have some concept of reaching, of getting, and she's getting that water up. The last one is the World. I've been really pulled to the World cards in these decks lately. Now, interesting, we've got the World coming out of the hoop imagery. We've got the four people around her, and their suits. They got the suits going on here. It's a nice world. I like that she's coming through. I like the cityscape behind her. She's armed. Oops. Right there. So, lots to love in this game, this Omegaland tarot deck and card game. Again, it's from US Games Systems Incorporated. They are probably my top in my collection. I probably have more US Games decks than anything else, simply because they've been around forever and a day. Stuart Kaplan is the force behind US Games, and he's an amazing energy. He really is dedicated to the company, and he's dedicated to a lot of information about tarot. He's done a series of tarot encyclopedias. I don't have them. I want them. But that's down the road a little bit because they're a little pricey. They're in their big books. So, but someday the Arwen will have them. I really appreciate y'all joining me, and I want to remind you to find me on Facebook, Tarot by Arwen with the number 1 after it. Find me on Periscope, Tarot by Arwen. Find me on Instagram. Guess how? You got it, Tarot by Arwen. Seek joy, y'all, and as always, pass it on.